You should think of your family before you try to commit suicide. I was given a patient within the last minute, and he had just tried to commit suicide. I knew nothing else about them. Nothing at all. Nothing whatsoever. The first thing I said to him was to think about his family. I told him what his mother would think if he wasn't around and how distraught she would be if he was dead. The mother would be so traumatized, especially being the person who gave birth to him. I told him how his mother would miss him and how all mothers cherish their children, and to put a mother through all of that would be devastating for her. Then I said things about how his father would feel if he had committed suicide. His father would be broken, as fathers also love their children. I told him how his suicide would put tears to his father's eyes and how he would not be able to see his bloodline move forward. His father would tremble because he would not have any grandchildren, and it would be such a lonely existence for the father. For both parents, it would be such a loss, as all that work and time would be a waste if he had committed suicide. I kept telling my patient to also think about how his friends would feel, and even his co-workers. Then I went a bit further and I told him to think about his siblings and to understand how they would feel if he had committed suicide. Growing up together and then suddenly for everything to just go down the soil, it would be soul-crushing for them. I got a bit louder and I told him whether he would think his siblings would feel great after his suicide. I made my patient realize the amount of people it would affect if he was to commit suicide. I kept urging him to think before he left. Then I told him to think how his grandparents would feel if he had committed suicide, and if he committed suicide, it would surely crush his grandparents. My patient had such a large family, and his suicide would affect a lot of people, including his cousins and uncles. I tried to make the patient realize the amount of damage his suicide will have on so many people. And then, after giving that speech to my last-minute patient, I opened the file and I was shocked at what I had learned. His whole family, including his mother, his father, siblings, grandparents, and all the cousins, had imprisoned and tortured him and were preparing him for a satanical sacrifice. And he tried to commit suicide to escape being offered up to Satan. His neighbors phoned the police for strange noises coming from his house. I then said to him,
Uziva, ivalako pali vene zinagamba, andosaganiza pali family yako. You know what? Actually, ignore what I said and don't think about your family.
It was too late. He grabbed one of my pens and stabbed himself in the neck.